lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the weekly Fanatics Collect weekly hockey auction watch party. My name is Jeremy Lee. It is January the 19th, 2025, and I am joined by Mr. Josh Madigan of the Hockey Cards Gongshow. Josh, we are back. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I am awesome. I am happy to be here. I am excited for this show because there are lots of great cards in this auction. Vintage in particular, I feel, is going to carry us through, but there are several modern cards as well. But, you know, I love my vintage, Josh. We got a few Gretzky rookies to look at. We've got one amazing Sidney Crosby card I want to look at, one amazing Alex Ovechkin card I want to look at, among some Connor McDavids, some Austin Matthews, some Connor Bedards, of course. Lots of Connor Bedards going on Fanatics Collect week after week. And I'm just excited to sit here and geek out with you and the chat over some pictures of men on cardboard. So how about you? Anything, any of the cards catch your eye as you were doing the Gong Show episodes? Anything sort of stick out to you as different or exciting this week?
I agree with you. It's nice. It's part of the fun of this auction is every week it seems like there's a different story that the cards tell. And for I would say like a year or so ago, we were very vintage heavy. And then I think the last couple of months have been more modern. And now we're, you know, it's another vintage episode. So there's a lot of variety. There's a number of cards that really stood out to me in both vintage and modern. The Crosby flop is one for sure that I really like. And then there's a Bedard rookie I like too.
Well, I can't wait to get to that one. You mentioned the Crosby flop, the Future Watch auto patch. It's a beautiful card, and that's the Crosby I was alluding to before we when we just started off the episode here today. Want to welcome Jacob Dahl and Todd McDonald and Laura. What is going on? Bills Ravens. What's the score on that? Last I saw, the Bills were winning. What's this? Oh boy. 27-25 for the Bills. Bills have the ball. 1 minute, 18 seconds left. First and 10 for the Bills on the Baltimore 30. Looks like they could have another score here if everything goes according to their plan. Thanks for that tip there, Laura. Mark Santucci, you had a very busy Saturday. You have tomorrow off, so I thought you'd join us. Good to have you here. Government holiday. Yeah, I noticed there's some afternoon games in the NHL tomorrow. You'll have a snowstorm. Well, good luck in the snow for sure. Professor, good evening to you. Producer Louis, good evening. What is going on? Good to see you guys. The affiliate link to, if you're going to bid on any cards on the auction tonight, pinned to the top of the YouTube chat is a link. I ask if you'd like to help support the channel, click on that, and that'll take you to Fanatics, and anything you bid on after you click on that will earn Sports Cards Live a small commission, but is greatly appreciated. Those small commissions add up over time, so always grateful for your support. Mark, there is there 70s and 80s in the auction? Yeah, I'm sure there's 70s for sure. There's some 80s. We're going to look at some from both of those decades. Tight end drop pass on the tying 2-point conversions for the Ravens. Oh yeah. Rally, good evening to you. All right, well, let's look at some hockey cards, guys. Let's look at some hockey cards and keep us posted on the score in the Baltimore-Buffalo game, please. So here's where we're starting, you guys. We're going to start with 1951 Parkhurst. We have a Boom Boom Jeffrion rookie card as well as a Ted Lindsay rookie card. And as I was saying to Josh just before we started, I love this Boom Boom Jeffrion, and here is why, you guys. Let's just zoom in on this one. So I'm going to start actually right here. You can see that this card, it's pretty well centered. Not perfect. It's a little bit off to the left, but it's still well centered. But look at the borders. This is what I would refer to as a full-bodied 51 Parkhurst. The card is nice and wide. Yeah, I like. They're not all cut the same, but this one is full-bodied. It's got good centering. Its biggest weakness, I think, are the corners. The corners are worn down. They are rounded, but mostly uniform. And then its biggest strength to me is look at how dark black that black background is. Not a fisheye in sight. I love that. A great copy here. It's a 3.5, I think we said. Yeah, it's a 3.5. And this is a copy that, outside of the corners, it seriously, like, it presents everything that you're looking for. I just noticed now something might be a little crease right here I see on the back. If we come to the front and see if we can see it coming through, I don't necessarily see it here. It doesn't mean it's not there, but something to consider. So I love this Geoffrion as a low grade, strong eye appeal card. Did Fanatics give an eye appeal rating? They did not, but I would give this some sort of, better than average rating for me. And then we've got the Ted Lindsay. Let's have a look at the Lindsay. This is a PSA 5. And this one, the corners are much nicer than the Boom Boom corners. The centering is basically the same. Color is good. The only thing I'm really noticing is some sort of like some stain or discoloration up in the top corner here. And I see it down the bottom as well. We take a quick look at the back of the card. Back looks nice and clean. I love how you can see the fibers of the cardboard in these 51 Parkhursts. So I like both of these cards.
I think there's a crease, Jeremy, on the right. I think there's a crease on the right shoulder of
right here. Yeah, I just noticed that now. I don't think that's a crease as much as it's some sort of a surface scrape or something, because I don't think a crease would come out as a 5. I don't think that would be a 5 if there was a crease. If we look at the back and just look at the opposite side, don't see anything there. So I think it's just the one side. And yeah, to me, Josh, it looks more like a scrape along the surface there. It's not optimal, that's for sure. But maybe that's why this isn't graded higher, because everything else looks pretty decent on this card. But good call out on that one. Nice copy. I still like it. Yeah, I still do like this copy. To me, this isn't like a super strong 5 or anything, but I do think that it's a very nice for sure. Phil lets us know the Bills win. There we go. The Bills win. Thank you very much. Mark says yeah, but that's a 5, Mark, not a 3.5 that we were talking about. Okay, Josh. Before we go on to the 52, Gordie, any thoughts on the 51s?
I agree with you. I really like the Boom Boom. The depth of and richness of the color is amazing. And man, he looks like he's gonna kill somebody in that drawing.
He's menacing.
What? Oh yeah, he's you really get to see it with how well the picture is, and yeah, it seems like most of the imperfections in that card are on the corners, and it's uniformly, well worn, and so it's a great card.
Yeah. Cool. All right. 52 Parkhurst Gordie Howe. This is a PSA 3. This is the second year Gordie Howe card. So let's zoom in on this. This is one of my favorite cards in the hobby. I love this 52 Parkhurst Gordie. This is a PSA 3. From here, it looks really good. Let's get in a bit closer and take a closer look. Top right corner definitely has some wear. Top edge, good. Top left corner, great for the grade. Not seeing any creases that are obvious at this point as we come down. Bottom right corner, bottom left corner definitely have some wear, a bit of rounding on the bottom right. As we zoom out, I do notice what looks like some water stains almost, like right here. Do you see that, Josh? Right here. And then there's like a bit of a bigger one over here. I see something going on over in this area as well. So I'm not sure what that is. It's tough to say. Let's look at the back. Oh, back's beautiful. Back is beautiful. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. It looks like some discoloration to me, and it just might be some staining or something. A little bit of surface issue in this area too, perhaps. it's hard to tell what's going on exactly with that. But even as I move the card around, you can kind of see a line. It's in the yellow coming right here under the mouse and then down this way. And I'm not sure what that is. That might be a shadow. I'm not sure. But overall, for a PSA 3, this is a really nice copy. These are notoriously off-centered. This has great centering, great color, strong edges and corners. It might just have some weird surface issues going on. Josh, anything to add to that?
I really like this card a lot, and I like the card itself. And I think that from an eye appeal perspective, that this is a very nice copy for a PSA 3. And I'm not saying that the 51 is not, it's obviously more significant, but just from like enjoying the card, I might like this one better. Is that bad?
Oh, I do too. No, it's not. I like this. I like this aesthetically better than the 51 Parkhurst as well. The 51 Parkhurst has the rookie card, status going for it, which is definitely important for sure. Kinger, good evening. Thank you for being here. Phil says uniform wear in corners, which seems to be easier to swallow. Yeah, I mean, Phil, I don't mind a card that has rounded corners. If all four corners are rounded evenly, I call that sexy corners. Because if you've got a card that has maybe the two corners on the right are rounded and the corners on the left are sharp and square, like I don't like that. That's asymmetrical. We are conditioned to like things that are symmetrical, and count me among that group of humans. And so if I ever refer to sexy corners, it's because all four corners are pretty much rounded to the same degree. All right, let's keep on going into 53 and 54. 53 Parkhurst, and on the far left, Terry Sawchuk. 54 Parkhurst, Gordie Howe in the middle, and the 54 tops, Gordie Howe. You can pick up both 54 Gordie Howe tonight, the Parkhurst and the tops card. But let's take a quick look at this Sawchuk. 53 Sawchuk. I mean, these 53 is the first year of like full-size cards, post-war in hockey. And this Sawchuk is a great looking card. I love his 52. I love this 53. His 51 rookie, I like it, but it's not as nice as 52 or 53. And Josh just mentioned how he prefers the 52 Gordie Howe to the 51 Gordie Howe. I agree. But let me say that I prefer the 52 Terry Sawchuk to the 51 Terry Sawchuk more than I prefer the 52 Gordie to the 51 Gordie, because that 52 Sawchuk is just such a beautiful card. But we don't have one of those here. We have the 53 Sawchuk. Looks like a really clean card here in a PSA 6 holder. It's got nice white borders. Seems to be off center a bit to the right, but overall a really nice looking card right there. The 54 Gordie Howe Parkhurst looks very, very nice for a 6. No complaints at all about what I'm seeing there. And then the PSA 3 54 tops. Like, this is a Mount Rushmore card and a very important card. This is the first top set, of course, the Gordie Howe being, the best card in the set, the most valuable, the most important. And really, outside of the Gordie Howe and the Terry Sawchuk in this set, there's not a lot more there. It's not a great set, the 54. It's beautiful. And, whoever's working on the set registry of the set themselves might get mad at me for saying that, but I've never been that interested in this set outside of the Gordie Howe for me. The Sawchuk's nice, but he's got, earlier cards of 51, 52, and 53 that I actually like more than his 54 for the most part. Maybe not the 51, but this is a great card. This is a PSA 3, recently graded. Looks really good to me here as well. Let's just have a better look at it and see what's going on. For a 3, top corners are 3, but decent. Coming down, it's really this bottom left corner that's got all sorts of like a serious ding going on there with all sorts of little crease lines, as it's almost like that corner was like banged up again on the floor or something. You've got some snow going on in the red bar here in the blue. Bottom right corner is a little messed up as well. But like overall, the image is wonderful. The centering is very good, not perfect. It is shifted a bit to the left. But just look at the image of Gordie on there and the Red Wings logo. Really nice. Somewhat recently graded for a 3. I think it's a good 3, Josh. I really do. Any thoughts on this row?
Yeah, I like the Sawchuk. I've never been a big fan of Red Army Gordie. but it's just such a weird with that star in the
Yeah, it is.
background on the
Yeah.
Parkhurst. And the 54, I'm an anti-Facsimiliano guy, but the 54 tops has been growing on me. So, okay, what are the top 3 playing days Gordie Howe cards? Is this in your
Well,
mind?
it's top 3 playing days Gordie Howe. Well, it's going to be his 51 Parkhurst. It's going to be his 54 tops. And then the third one, I mean, I think that becomes very subjective. But for me, I'm going with his 52 Parkhurst.
I think I'd agree with you.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. But we have a couple coming up we'll get to that I like as well. But I mean, the 52 Parkers to me is such a wonderful card. The 53 is a great card too, but I prefer the 52 personally. Mark Santucci, Bobby Hull's rookie card isn't until 1958. The 58 tops is his rookie card. Phil says, is that how famous? Because it's his first top. I mean, that is why, Phil. It's from the first top set that ever came out in hockey. They only featured the 4 American-based teams. There's no Montreal or Toronto cards in that set. Parkhurst had the license for the Canadian teams in those days until they finally, left and Topps got it all. So Phil does call out for your question on top 3 Howe cards. He says the 79 O-Pee-Chee Gordie Howe, which is his last card, pictured with the Whalers, and while I think that's a great card and I own a copy, to me, it's not even top 10 Gordie Howe cards for me.
He looks like he's 180 years old in that card, Phil. Come on.
He does. Okay, here's the 54 top Sawchuck. So this is the other good card in that set. Maybe Ted Lindsay's in there as well. Maybe Red Kelly, but to me, it's really Howe and Sawchuck. This is a PSA 6. Terry Sawchuck. It's a really cool card. I mean, the color is great. He's kind of just in warm up or whatever. He got a big smile on his face there. This is a great card. It's off centered to the left, but otherwise, look at how sharp that blue border is along the side edges and the bottom. Really nice blue and red. Not a perfect bottom right corner, but very nice still. I think centering is maybe what brings the grade of this down. If this was better centered left to right, I could see this being, more like a 7. Maybe a 7.5 or something. That's a great looking copy right there. We've got some 57 tops. I love these are all 57 tops, guys. We've got the Glenn Hall rookie in a PSA 7, a very important Hall of Fame rookie. We've got the 57 tops Gordie. I love this Gordie, Josh, even though he looks really funny in it. Like, look at his face on this card. Like, and there's a registration issue here too, but it's just a funny picture of him. But I love the issue. I just think this is a nice Gordie Howe card. That's a PSA 6. The centering is definitely off, but it's still very nice. We also have the Norm Ullman rookie card, the Pierre Pilote rookie card. These are Hall of Fame rookies. And we've got the Terry Sawchuck as well from this set. And this one looks really good. This is a PSA 8. Fanatics did give it an eye appeal assessment, which I think it well deserves here. Let's zoom in on this guy. Like, look at the centering on this. It's almost perfect. Like, it's not, but it's so well centered. The only thing I notice is this little print defect right there. The orange background is great. The blue background is beautiful. Edges and corners. This is an amazing copy. This is a great copy. Like, I love this card here. Yeah, that's a beauty. The Pierre Pilote is a PSA 8, and it's nice too, but it's definitely, the centering isn't as good as that Sawchuck was, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Still a very nice looking card. And the Ullman, of course, is a PSA 7, and I can just tell from here, its centering is it's off vertically, but horizontally it's very nice. And you've got Ullman, you've got Glenn Hall. And the third one, who's the third rookie in that set that's important? There's Pilote, Ullman, Hall, and Johnny Busick, who we don't see here in this auction, but he's the other big one in the set. So Josh, after I've gone through all that, can you please give your thoughts? How do you like these 57 tops cards, the various colors that they use, the yellows and the reds and the blues?
Yeah, it's all right. I like the Glenn Hall card because it's unique. You got to zoom in really quick for me, though, on the 54 Sawchuck. I just have to make a point that what is his block? Is that Santa's mitten that is blocker in that card? What the heck?
Which one? This one here?
No,
Yeah.
the other one, the other glove. What is that?
That's big.
Looks like Santa's mitten, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe someone at Tops was playing a joke. You never know. Yeah.
I don't know. No, but I do I don't know. Probably enough about the 57 set, but I do like the Glenn Hall, and I've got a lot of now. I'm gonna at the risk of sounding dumb, which I always do anyways, but he's the one that has like some like almost like 500 game streak, right? That's
Yes,
his
I
thing,
believe that's Glenn Hall. Yeah, who had a
which will never
crazy
ever ever be broken again. I mean, that's
never ever. I mean, what goalie plays more than 3 games in a row nowadays? Never mind
mhm.
500. It's unheard of. It's all different, totally different now. But again, if you're looking for 57s, guys, these are all good candidates in my opinion. So don't be shy on these. I think they're, if you don't mind the centering on the specific copy, like the Sawchuk is excellent. The Hall is really good. The Gordie is obviously off center, but it's got other things going for it. And same with the Allman and the Pilote. I think it's a great assortment there. All right, 1960 Tops Stan Mikita rookie. This is a PSA 7.5. And that's a strong grade. Let's take a quick peek. Centering wise, it's a little bit high, but very good centering nonetheless. This, I don't know. This is now something's jumping out at me. What's jumping out at me are, and I don't know if other copies have it, but this white on his shoulder here, and white on his shoulder here, and this white thing over there, right on his neck. I don't remember seeing those on this card before, Josh. Can you take a peek and see if you can find another copy? And if those are specific to this copy, you also have a fisheye right here in the blue to the left of his hockey pants, something to consider. But outside of those things, which are all kind of print defect items, this is a pretty nice copy. Registration isn't perfect. I say that because you can sort of see a thin white line in between him and his jersey here and the blue. You also see it here in this little section between his glove and his leg. You can see a little bit of a gap between the blue and him, his glove there. Nothing serious. And if you want to get really picky, you can, I'm noticing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there, 6, 7, 8, a whole bunch of fisheyes in the yellow. But yellow is like the best place for fisheyes to be because they're hard to notice. But if you zoom in, it's going to be hard for you guys to see, but I can see them. There's several of them in the yellow there, as there are several in the blue, but one is the most offensive, and that's this one right here. Josh, were you able to look at another copy and see if it has these whitening issues?
Yeah, I looked at a bunch, and it's pretty much a carbon. I'm looking at like a PSA 8 that's the highest all-time sale, and it's got all the white marks on the jersey. It's got the white outline on the left side as well. And so I would
So this is just
probably,
how the card is then.
I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it just jumped out at me this time, but it did. I don't know why it feels so pronounced to me on this copy here, but I'm glad to hear that is the way many of them are. I'll definitely keep my eyes open for that as we move forward. But I think it's a pretty great copy here. 7.5. Let's have a quick peek at the back and see if anything jumps out. Not really. Just centering there. So maybe it's all those fisheyes that bring the grade down from where it would otherwise be. We have a 1961 Topps Rod Gilbert PSA 8 eye appeal in the top 30%, and a 62 Parkhurst Gordie PSA 8 with top 30% eye appeal. So to your question earlier, Josh, or like top 3 or 5 or 10 Gordie Howe cards of all time, this is not one of them for me. The 62 Parkhurst is not a card that I have any real love for. I do like the 57 Topps, though. Do you have any comments on these three before we go to the next row?
I just have to always say, like, Roger Bear's got the Clark Kent thing going on. I can't look at that card without thinking that. And then we just did a deep dive for Phil on 98 OPG Chrome Blast from the Past. And I think there's like 10 cards, maybe 8 cards in that set. One of them is the Stan Mikita 1960. So you can get that in the 98 OPG Chrome set too.
Yes, you can, and with the refractor option as well. All right, 1963 Parkhurst Gordie Howe. This is a card that, like, I don't love it for whatever reason. Maybe I just don't. The flag in the background and the whole set. Like, there's flags in the background on many of the I think half the cards in this set, and I just don't love the looks of them. But it's a nice portrait of Gordie Howe, that's for sure. He looks great here. It's a PSA 6, and despite my opinion, this is a very popular card amongst Gordie Howe collectors and the hobby in general. Some people just love this card, especially if you're American. You got the US flag there. He's obviously Canadian, but he was playing in the States at the time, and I think that's why you have the American flag behind him. It's not a bad looking card. I just don't love the background that they use, and it's not because it's the US flag. I just think it's just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a hockey card to me in some ways, despite the fact that it is. And but I also respect that a lot of people do love this card. It's very understandable to me that that's the case. This is interesting. Well, let's go to the other side here. The 64 Topps Tall Boy Gordie Howe in a PSA 6. Great card. I used to own a copy of it. This might be like a top 10 Gordie, because this is a really nice card. I actually really like it. Don't have one anymore. I got rid of all my off standard size cards, even whether it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like the Lou Alcindor rookie, the Gordie Howe, or the Joe Namath Topps rookie. I got rid of those, but this is nice. And centering side to side is actually really strong on this. They're not usually that well centered. Top to bottom, it's sitting a little bit low, but this is a great copy, one that I would certainly be happy for anyone who were to purchase it. And just so you guys know, we are just under 3 minutes away from the 30-minute extended bidding window, the all access extended bidding window. Finally, in the middle here is the checklist from this tall boy set. And it's a PSA 8, and it's at 1,050, about 3 times as much as the Gordie Howe card, but it's an unmarked checklist. And of all checklists ever, Josh, this one having like this cartoon graphic here full of color might be the prettiest checklist in the history of sports cards right here. The front goes from card number 1 to 10, and the back takes you from card number 11 to 55. This is a cool checklist. I'm not a checklist guy, but like this is one that I could see myself maybe one day adding just for a little novelty. Josh, what were you thinking about these 3 cards right here?
Well, I'll come out. The 63 is kind of weird, just like the Red Army Gordie Howe to me. And if they're going to do a card like that, put a Canadian flag behind him, because it just seems odd. There's just something off about the card, and I kind of agree with you in that. I get it. Detroit's an American team, so that's probably the theme there. But it's more so a picture of Gordie Howe, and you would think that you would put his country behind him if you're going to put a flag. So I'm sure people love the card. I think it's, again, a little bit off. And yeah, I do not know nearly enough about these spendy checklists, but now it's piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's a cool, it's a sweet checklist. If I've ever, I don't know that I've ever been able to say that before. Laura says for 70 years old, Gordie is still looking fine, and on that 79 card. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Robin Taylor says for Gordie Howe, 51, 52, and then 54. Yeah, I think that's my order too, Robin. I mean, the 51 being the rookie card, for me, I give it that extra bump, but the 52 aesthetics wise, I like more, but I'm not going to own a 52 if I don't already own a 51, which I have both. So I'm covered there. I have a 54. I've got all 3 of those actually. So I'm pretty happy with that. More hockey cards just getting here. Someone is liquidating their vintage collection. There's too much to go through. Well, have fun. There's like 600 and something cards, or was it 400 and something cards this week? A big auction this week and next week. But we're going to look at about 50 of them tonight. And then Todd says, I believe the white on the Sawchuk blocker is a felt they would have added to add more padding and slow down the rebounds. There you go. There you go. All right, we are now into the first all-access extended bidding window. It is 30 minutes long, and if any items in this auction do not receive a bid during the next 30 minutes, that item will end at the price it's currently at. But right now, we're going to focus on the 65 Topps set. We have 2 Jerry Cheevers rookies, and PSA 8 and a PSA 9. And if I kind of step back from lean back in my chair and look at them from this distance, I can easily see that the PSA 9, which is in the middle, is better centered than the PSA 8 on the left. The red background, the reddish orangish background, I find a little bit more red on the middle card, the PSA 9 as well. Now, look at the prices. We're $1,000 different between the 8 and the 9. So you've got to ask yourself, is it worth spending the extra $1,000, which is really $1,200 with the buyer's premium, to get that 9, or would you be happy with the 8 for a third of the price? And of course, that's just going to come down to what you're going for. Do you want that grade? Do you not care and just want to get a nice card? But let's have a bit of a deeper look here. We're just going to click into the 8 here. It's got a few print defects. Let's go have a quick look at the 9 as well. It's not perfectly centered, actually. It is off to the right a little bit, but the background is bolder, more solid. I also think you have better registration on the 9. I want to go back to the 8 for a second, though. I'm going to just open it this way instead. It's nice, but it's got this fisheye like right there that's pretty yellow. It's got a couple right over here. So not bad. I mean, they're both great cards, don't get me wrong. Both, somewhat recently graded, so not bad. We have a 65 tops Phil Esposito. We recently saw the one and only PSA 10 of this card sell for, I forget, Josh, 72 or 82,000 US dollars. 72,000 US dollars. It's funny, the buyer of that card, maybe he's watching right now. I think, Josh, I think he reached out to both of us to let us know, and really happy for him on that. But this is a PSA 7, and it looks okay. I don't know if it's I think the card is sitting in the holder on a bit of a slant. I think it's in the holder. I think that the left side is lower than the right side, and that was throwing me off. But now that I recognize that that's all it is, I'm not bothered by it. It's a nice card. I don't own a copy of this card anymore, but if I eventually get one, it would be a 7. As I just noticed something, though. Let's zoom in further. There's something going on over here. Something going on in this area over here on the card. I'm seeing, it almost looks like old dried out leather, like that kind of effect. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, if these are scratches on the card or on the holder. I don't think they're on the holder. I think they are on the card. I'm seeing some darkness, almost looks like wax. This could be a wax stain of sorts from gum, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I'm not a fan of that. This is an old grade, which makes me think that this is something there, because I don't think this is a 7 today if it's regraded. I can't imagine this will get a 7. But what it does, it also has some little bit of action over here under the E and on the S, although those could be on the slab itself. Listen, Esposito, this is a very important card. This might be the second most important Hall of Fame rookie from the 1960s in hockey, after only the Gordie Howe. You got Gordie Howe, you got Phil Esposito. Rookie cards after that, all you really have in my mind is Mikita, Bernie Parent, Gilbert Rattel. You got some others in the 65 set, but those are the key cards. I think the Esposito is probably the number 2 rookie in the 60s. And Mikita is going to be close by there too, but it's a decent card. I don't know that I'd recommend this one because of something awkward going on in this section here. I don't think that if someone said, "Hey, check out my new Esposito rookie," I might look at it. I'd have to almost fake that I like it, and I don't want to have to do that with so. Yeah, I don't love this copy here, Josh. Your thoughts on the Cheevers and the Esposito?
Yeah, I think the PSA 9 Cheevers is clearly ahead of the 8, but it, again, depends what you're looking for. We probably have to throw Bobby Orr in there for 1960 rookies, too.
I said Orr. Right? I said he was first, didn't I?
Oh, you did?
I
said Howe, but maybe that was a mistake.
If I said Howe, I misspoke. Yeah, I definitely meant Bobby Orr is the number 1, followed by, yeah.
And then Phil Esposito could be the most underappreciated hockey player ever in the hobby. It would be tough to come up with a player different, ahead of him in that category, I think. And It's a pretty awesome card. I love the blue background on it.
Yeah. Oh, me too. It is a beauty. It is a beauty for sure. Okay, a couple comments quickly here. Maddie Devine, Fanatics percent on top is 20%. If you put in a bid, it'll actually show you what your bid will be, including the buyer's premium. Hello, David Kaplan. Good to see you. Maddie, yeah, I guess I did say Gordie Howe. I certainly, in my mind, I was saying Bobby Orr. Okay, here's the Yvonne Cournoyer rookie from the 65 tops. It is a PSA 8 with above average eye appeal. probably him. You've got Esposito, Cornwall, Eddie Jacquemin. I think those are the three main rookies in the 65 set. There might be one more. I know Paul Henderson's in there too. This is a nice card, really nice, sharp corners and edges, very good centering, shifted a bit to the right. From what I can see here, this is a card that if someone showed it to me, I'd be like, yeah, that's a great pickup, way to go. I wouldn't be faking anything there. But let's look at the PSA 5 Bobby Orr rookie card now and see what we're dealing with in this one. And I'm going to look at the centering is like basically perfect. Side to side centering. This is I don't know, this might be a perfectly centered card, which is really important for the issue, obviously. I don't see any issues on the surface, no scratches on his face. I can't see anything like that. Edges look really good, except for, just on the top here, you got a little bit of a chip over there and some light, small chipping right over there. The other edges all look really good. And then corners are the problem. That top right corner, you can see what's going on there. The bottom right corner, same thing. Bottom left, same thing, but to a lesser degree. And top left, same is the best corner. It's those two corners on the right that are definitely bringing this thing down. If those corners were all like this top left corner, this thing's a 7 all day long, in my opinion. This is okay, but I'm just going to come back and say this is a great copy. Corners are not the most important thing to me. I was talking to somebody yesterday who was telling me that he's a corners guy. Hey, that's great. I'm a registration focus centering guy. This is an amazing copy. Does it have eye appeal designation? Yes, above average. So I certainly agree with that on this card. The centering's amazing. The color is great. This is a great card. You fully approve of this copy for anybody who might be looking at it. And then we have another checklist here, guys. 66 Tops checklist. It's a PSA 8 Pop 11. It's at $2,700, guys, for a checklist. For a checklist. It's a cool checklist too. You got the little hockey player here, not nearly as cool as the 64 checklist, but this 66 checklist is obviously more valuable, $2,700, Josh. This is someone who's working on the set, likely a set registry collector, needs this. And these are tough. It's a Pop 11, one graded higher. I mean, these obviously a lot of these were just marked up with pen. But Josh, your thoughts on the three?
I can't believe these checklists, and I want to know, was some big time checklist collector just unloading their collection tonight? It seems too coincidental, right, to have this many in the auction. But I wonder what makes the 66 so coveted. Is it the grade? Is it there's something about that specific card? Now, do you consider a checklist a hockey card, or is it a hockey checklist? Is it its own category?
No, it's a base card. To me, a checklist is a part of the set. Always has been. If it's numbered in the set, which they always are. Even Upper Deck Flagship has checklists nowadays. They put 2 players on the front and the checklist on the back. To me, checklists are hockey cards. They are an integral part of the set. That's why they're valuable, because they are part of the set. People need them to complete their set. Lucky for me, I don't collect complete sets of that kind of stuff. So I have no, I don't need the checklist. They're novelty to me. They're cool. They're different. They're funny, but I don't need them. And yeah, we wonder who's letting go of these cards. And we're not watching every card in the auction, but unmarked vintage checklists are valuable because, never mind mothers throwing out cards, kids throwing cards against the walls, checklists were marked up so much. So finding an unmarked, I remember collecting full sets in the 80s. I was one of those kids with a pen filling in those little squares. So even I did
the point of them was to mark them up, right? That was the purpose.
That's of the card. A checklist. Here's a list, check it off. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Jason Pringle says, I need to get me one of those Cheevers for my PC. It's one of the only ones you're missing. Yeah, you're a Cheevers guy, Jay. Good luck. Well, let me know when you get one. I want to see how you do. Rally, no, we haven't talked about. We're still in the 60s here. Okay, that's the end of the first page. That's good progress here, guys. Let's go to page 2 now. Here it is, and we've got some 67s. I love the 67 set. I love the 57 set. I love the 67 set. But in the 67 set, This is the second year Gordie Howe card, or sorry, the second year Bobby Orr. See how I confuse those two? I love the second year Bobby Orr card. We don't have one to look at tonight, but we do have the Gordie Howe in a PSA 8, the Johnny Bower in a PSA 8, the Rogie Vachon Hall of Fame rookie in a PSA 8, and we have the Stan Mikita in a PSA 8. These are all great cards, guys. Like, how much are they? They're all 135 on Mikita, 450 on Vachon because it's a rookie, 190 on Bauer, 600 on Gordie. Like, would this be a top 10 Gordie Howe card for me? Maybe. I will eventually own one of these cards. I don't know if this is the copy for me. I'm probably going to look for like a really nice PSA 4 or 5 for myself, but this is a really nice copy. It's not perfectly centered, but it's beautiful. I would approve of any of these. Then let's look at the I got to look at this. The reason I click into this one, Josh, look at that green background. That is not the most beautiful green out there, but I still love this card. Like, something about that awkward green stands out to me. What about you?
Oh, I love it. I think I actually think it's a cool green. It's very indicative of the time.
Yeah. It's just awesome. It's a little black dot under his lip there. I'm not sure what that is. Might just be something on the holder. But yeah, that's I really do like these 67s, and I wish I could be buying them all right now because did I say we don't have a Bobby Orr? There's the Orr. Was I missing a row? I was down. Okay, somehow we were missing a whole row here, guys. We also have the Bobby Hull PSA 8. We have the Bobby Orr PSA 8, and we have the Derek Sanderson, a rookie card in a PSA 8. The Bobby Hull has the same colors as the Mikita, maybe because we're on the same team, Chicago, but we got to look at the Bobby Orr here because this is a key card. It's a $2,500. I love this card. I own this card in a PSA 8 myself, so I can really let you know about it. Now, this card, unfortunately for this copy, this has one of the things that I tell people to watch out for on this copy, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So first of all, edges, corners are nice, great color. Come down and you see the fisheye right there. See that, Josh?
Yeah.
This is present on, I don't know, probably half of the copies I've ever seen. And I always say, because there's so many of them, but there's many without it, I waited to buy my copy, which I bought several years ago. I waited to make sure mine did not have this fisheye over here. So, it's one of those common things. So keep that in mind if you're bidding on this card. It's still a beautiful card, but it's recently graded. So that tells you that, the stringent grading, I think the grade is respectable, but it does have that little fisheye there. So, because I know about it and I talk about it so much, I just couldn't have mine having it as well. So I didn't. But Josh, any thoughts on these 67s? We have 7 of them here.
Just an awesome set. And you kind of get a flavor for how cool it is by seeing multiple together in the different background colors. Yeah. This set would be awesome, like in a top loader binder or something like that.
Yeah, you got the blue, the red, the yellow, and the green backgrounds, and the pink. You've got 5 different color backgrounds. Like, gosh, I will be, over the next 10 years, I will be adding a few more of these cards to my collection. I got the Bobby Orr, and I'm gonna pick up probably a Gordie Howe. I might get a Bobby Hull. I'm definitely gonna get a Gordie Howe, and I'll have to maybe get a Stan Mikita. Like I only need maybe one of the Blackhawks. I don't need them both probably. Okay, let's keep on going. 69 OPG. We've got the Bobby Hull, we've got the Bobby Orr, and we've got the Tony Esposito, which is the rookie card in a PSA 8. It's kind of nice, Josh. We're skipping, obviously we're skipping the 68s, which are a totally different looking set altogether. But when I just look at this Mikita here, I compare this card to this card, and I know you're not really much of a portrait guy, but this Howe and this Orr are somewhat portrait cards. And I look at them, I really like them. While I also really like this also posed image, but you're getting, he's got the stick in hand. All these cards are sort of posed action shots, I guess.
Yeah.
But I really like them, but I also like the 69s too. How do you feel when you look at them opposed to each other?
I don't mind him. I really like the Bobby Orr 69. He looks like, can you zoom in on that? Because I feel like he looks,
Nice blue eyes.
is he getting like gray hair already?
Maybe.
He looked like a baby in the 1966 card. And then he looks kind of like he's got gray hair by 1969. It's like, geez, how rough was the league back then?
Yeah, could be. Cool card though. I like the hockey stick on these cards.
Yeah, I do too.
They brought them back in the 87 O-Pee-Chee and top sets, although it's a different look, but they did that again. They did it in the C55 series, the first to have it. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool looking design with the stick coming down the side. So we got the PSA 9 Bobby Hull at $550 right now, and the PSA 7 Bobby Orr at $700. Pop 14, one higher on the Hull. It's a big Hull card right there. Love those guys. Just love all that. The Tony Esposito is a rookie. Now we have two O-Pee-Chee Gretzky rookies and a Topps, and two of them have above average eye appeal ratings by Fanatics Collect. The PSA 2 has above average, and the PSA 6 Topps has above average. Let's take a look at the PSA 2 Wayne Gretzky O-Pee-Chee and start off with centering, and centering is very good. Not perfect, but very strong. Okay, so centering's out of the way. Let's look at focus registration. Very good as well. The oil drop is nicely placed. The yellow plate is offset a bit, but that's hard to, not so easy to see. The black, white, and blue, perfect, which I love. I hate when we see the gap between the blue and the black. The yellow is the one that's the only real problem. I see a bit of yellow coming into this white border here from the bottom of the boards, but no big deal. And you can see some shadow, some red yellow shadow coming off the bottom of the leg. So there's issue there. All sorts of scratches on the surface, dinged corners, ding bottom left corner for sure. Bottom right corner looks nicer. Coming up, we got maybe a bit of a scratch right in there on the card, a chip on the border. But it's a 2. Staining there, but it's a 2. Top left corner, that thing's seen better days for sure. Top right corner, it's better, but same thing. Some fading on the right edge here. All sorts of, a little bit too much fray right there for my liking. But it's got the rough cut. It's a 2, guys, and for a 2, I'd say it's in pretty good shape. My biggest problem with it isn't the corners or the edges. It's any scratches on the surface. Like when I'm a surface guy. I'm a registration, centering is kind of a surface issue. It's, you see it on the surface anyway, and just surface scratches and that kind of thing. I don't want these scratches through the card, but again, it's appropriately graded. I think it's actually a strong 2, and so does so does Fanatics Collect. So I don't mind that card at all. And then we've got the PSA 6, and then we'll get Josh's thoughts on these. And right away, this card makes you dizzy. Look at this. Look at this. You know what? We're going to do this. I got to get this bigger, Josh. We're going to do it this way. Okay, here we go. So looking at this card, look at that right border. It's like a pyramid. It just gets wider as you come down. And that is, for me, a huge red flag. And I just do not want cards that have that slight, maybe, but this is not slight. It's just obvious. This card is making me dizzy. The left side of it, and this is a PSA 8. This is I thought this was a 6, and I still didn't like it. Now it's an 8. Okay, well, hang on a second, because this is a very recent grade. We got it. We're going to beat this up a bit, though, guys. Okay, so I beat up the centering because of the tilt. Now look at the oil drop, significantly offset to the right. I think the yellow plate and the red plate, though, are lined up perfectly, because I don't see any yellow coming off the red there. So the oil drop is a perfectly aligned. No gaps between the blue, black, and white. That is good. But you got a nice red shadow coming off the bottom of the legs. And then I've got, I don't know what's this like cloud action right here on his leg. All here, it comes off the slab, so it tells me this is not on the card. Something's off with this slab.
On the right side too, right? If you keep going to the right edge, Right above the right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it there as well. And then this is a bit awkward, but look at the bottom of the legs. You're seeing the orange. On the top, you're seeing some blue. You're seeing it right there as well, right here as well. There is a red. This has to do with the magenta and the yellow plates probably together just being offset. Look at the right of his shoulder. You see some blue coming off there. That yellow dot, we want that. That's on all the authentic copies of the Gretzky rookie. You got more slab issues all up in here, up in here, up in there, right? You got it right over here by the C. Okay, that we beat it up, but now let's look at the good things. Top edge, perfectly beautiful. Top corners, wonderful. Right edge and left edge, like 99 out of 100. Bottom edge, beautiful. Bottom left corner, beautiful. Bottom right corner, however, does have a little bit more white showing than I'd like right there. Now, did they give this eye appeal? No, thank God. Oh my God, I was about to I was gonna have a chat with Ryan Tedmus if they gave this one eye appeal. Listen, it's a recent grade, so I'm a little bit stumped how this got an 8, because to me this is just not worthy of the 8. Any card that makes you dizzy should not be an 8. Currently sitting at a bid of $12,000. I just hope no one watching is the bidder. I would feel bad. I think that this is I just don't like it, guys. I just don't like this card. I would kind of I'd have to fake it. If a friend of mine bought this, Josh, and brought it to the Expo and said, "Hey, check out my PSA 8 OPC Gretzky rookie," I'd be like, "Ugh, I really like it. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you." I don't know about that card, you know? So anyway, your thoughts, Josh?
Can we go back to the 2 real quick? And those scratches, how do you know they're not on the slab and that they're on the card? Or is that an unknown?
Well, no, I mean, let's see here. It doesn't look to be on the slab to me for whatever reason. Just from like, you see there's a scratch there. I see it right over here. Mm-hmm. And also because this card is, otherwise, I don't know that it's as low as a 2, unless there's other creases and wrinkles I can't see. I see a scratch right there. Maybe it is on the holder, but this holder is not that old. It's maybe a year and a half old or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe they aren't. I can't say for sure, but I'm assuming they are on the card, and I think I'd rather be conservative that way than say the other way.
Still a nice 2. And then the 8 is a tough one, and that's why I say this all the time, but it's the hardest card in the world to buy. Like, you should be a consultant you should open a Gretzky buying consultancy to help people buy this card, because there's so many pitfalls, and you look at like where the bid is right now, it's a very strong bid for a PSA 8.
It is. It's too high. Like it's not worth it, in my opinion. This is over. It's too much already. And I just, in this case, I just sort of feel bad for the buyer. But listen, some people just want that 8. All they care about is the 8 up there, and this will make that person very happy, and they can flex it all they want. But those that know that this is an overgraded card. Jay-Z says a lot of tilt looks even worse than really off center. I agree. Like, tilt can be worse than off center right there. Jacob Dahl says it should have the OC qualifier. I don't know that it's like I hear what you're saying, Jacob, but the OC qualifier, I don't think it's relevant to this. That said, because if you look at what they say when a card is off center, it's just got to do with how off center the overall image is with relative to like the edges of the card. This is actually well centered on the cardboard canvas, but then it's tilted. So what I think, Jacob, instead as a compromise is I would say it should have the tilt qualifier versus the off center qualifier. That's what I kind of think. Appreciate that. Jacob Dahl says I could write a best-selling book on the Gretzky rookie. Robert Scott says the scan for the PSA 8 on the PSA website does not have those cloudy issues on the knees. So between PSA scanning the card and then shipping it out to whoever has it, this holder got something happened to it to give it that issue. Thanks for letting us know though, Robert Scott. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, let's keep on going, Josh. We have a PSA 6 Topps Gretzky rookie. It's got above average eye appeal for a 6. Looks to be the case to me. Off-center to the right a little bit, but that's still like PSA 9 centering. Maybe even PSA 10 centering with 60/40. Recently graded. Looks really good to me. The only thing I'm noticing is this fisheye right down here, right there. Pretty serious one. You got a little bit of a edge issue right there. Bottom right corner, not perfect. Fisheye, big fisheye. Something going on over there. It's a nice 6. And I think I agree with the eye appeal assessment. However, those fisheyes throw me off a little bit, but I'm not going to argue it in this case. Like I would if I thought so, but I think it's this above average means like top 30%. So maybe this is a top 30%, not a top 25 or 20, but a top 30 because of those fisheyes. But I'm not sure. Fanatics knows more about that than I do. 1983 O-Pee-Chee Wayne Gretzky PSA 10, a great card for people working on the Gretzky run. These have gone for as high as I think like the low $3,000. So this might have some room to move tonight. We will see. And we have a PSA 7 O-Pee-Chee Lemieux rookie. Looks decent at first glance, but let's just do a little zoom here. Top edge, lots of fray. Slight registration issue. I just see a little bit coming into the skate here, a bit of the magenta and the yellow. But overall, I mean, it's a 7. Lots of Lemieux rookies to choose from. And if this one's in your price range, it's got tilt. I'm just noticing the tilt. Wider as you go up on the left, wider as you come down on the right. Takes it out of the game for me personally, but recently graded, so something to consider there. Josh, any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I just feel like that this Gretzky is such a good value at $1,600. I'm not even talking about comps. I'm just talking about as we value cards in this hobby. And I know it's a little bit higher pop than it's like 140 or something like that than we typically see. But still, it's like in every new set, there's like the Gretzky out of 99 that goes for way too much money. Here's a Playing Days amazing classic O-Pee-Chee logo in the lower right corner, which is awesome. And for $1,600, it feels like a treasure to me.
Yeah, it's a great card. I love this card. I have this card. I love it. I do the Gretzky run though. So Joe Pro says, is there any kind of paper stock difference between the O-Pee-Chee and the Topps Gretzky? It is a different paper stock, Joe. The Topps is a darker stock. That's about it. If you look at the back of the card of each of the cards, you will see that as well. Laura says, I'm never taking you scuba diving, Mr. Fisheye. Kinger, anything with Gretzky, you can't go wrong ever. Love it. PSA 9, Topps Lemieux rookie. PSA 8, O-Pee-Chee Patrick Waugh rookie. And a Black Diamond Ovechkin, BGS 9.5. Looks to have 10 centering, $800. Nice row of cards right here. We're not going to take any closer look at the Topps Lemieux. It's a PSA 9. I'm sure no, we are going to take a look because I don't want to say I'm sure because it's a very old grade on this card. So let's just see what we think. The only issue, is the color seems a little bit dulled out to me. There is a slight tilt, clockwise tilt going on as well. So consider that on this anciently graded PSA 9 Topps Lemieux rookie. The Patrick Waugh, is tonight the night of tilt? Like, look at this too. Narrow on the bottom left. It gets wider as you go up. This is a PSA 8. So, okay, it's a PSA 8 because I just noticed another issue right here, right there on the edge. Something funky going on there. The tilt. Otherwise, a fine card, recently graded. I'm not saying it isn't an 8, but it's not my favorite 8. That is for sure. Okay, the extended bidding just ended the first window, so some cards will be over. But Josh, these three all just sold. $750 on the Lemieux, $336 on the Waugh, $960 on the Ovechkin. I'm going to scroll up for a sec, Josh, and just see what else sold on this page. $372 on the Lemieux, $1710 on the Topps Gretzky that we were talking about, $14.4. So thankfully, for the bidders. No one else bid on this Gretzky rookie. I think it sold about $3,000 too much, but that's just me. Okay. Well, the Future Watch Crosby has sold at 9,600. That's a great card, Josh. I know it was one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
The honorable numbers, second year Cup, Alex Ovechkin out of 8, PSA 6, Pop 1, none graded higher, only 8 made, so there's not many graded. It's at 3,400. I love this card, you guys. Like, I absolutely love it. And you know, the grade doesn't really worry me on a thick card like this. It's likely the corners, maybe the edges, but like the patch is a beautiful 4-color. The autograph is amazing. It's numbered 1 of 8. A young Ovechkin, just a great card, like a sick card. And $3,400, I don't know, seems low to me. It's going to be game used. Like, I don't know if his rookie year honorable numbers is game used. If he did even have a rookie year honorable numbers, he did.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And then finally, this dual auto Gretzky Lemieux from the Cup signature patches from 2009. It's at $3,100. And I'm just going to tell you guys that those autographs, damn, those autographs are terrible. Just terrible. Look at that. Faded. Like, first they got cooked by the sun, and now they're starting to fade. Gosh. Just don't like the autos at all. And they Beckett has them graded a 10. They're clearly not a 10 anymore. They might have been 15 years ago. The patches are, you know, they're going to be game use patches. Neither of them are anything special. They're both basically one color, even though this Lemieux has a black thread on it. You know, I've seen my share of dual autos of Gretzky Lemieux lately, and this is the worst one I've seen. I just don't like it at all because of that. Josh, your thoughts on these, please?
I love the Crosby. I think the Ovechkin, listen, I'm not arguing the grade, but there's nothing about that. Like, if you covered up the slab and you asked 100 people to guess the grade, nobody would guess a 6. There's just no way. And what that means, and I think what's important to anyone out there who may be in the market for it, is you're going to get a great deal on a fantastic card because that stupid number on the slab, and somebody really smart is going to buy this card today. Yeah, I really feel that's, I mean, again, you zoom into it, and I'm sure maybe but every Cup card that thick has corners and edges that look like that. So how is the...
Yeah, you're right.
Like honestly, like if we covered up the slab and we had 100 people guess the grade, I don't think anyone would guess as low as a 6.
No, I don't think so either. I think you're going to guesses of like 7s maybe, but a lot of 8s are what people would guess, I believe. And it, you know, hockey collectors are different than the other sports, where I don't know hockey collectors that want all their Cup patch autos graded. Like, I don't know anybody that does. It's when you see a graded Cup card, it's usually, I'm guessing it was usually graded by someone who is more into basketball, football, that kind of thing. That's a great card, Josh. You're right. Jay-Z says, you know, buy the card, not the grade. He says the OV Cup card is a steal. Michael Hathaway says, in 3 years, you'll kick yourself for passing because of the grade. Good luck seeing one again in any grade. Yeah, good luck seeing one again in any grade. That's right. There's only 8 of those. Andy says, I told him he had to buy a Gretzky PMG green. Let's get this straight, Andy. You messaged me today and said, if I have $5,000, no, he said, if you had $5,000, no, here's what he said. If I had $5,000 to spend on a single hockey card, knowing what I like, what would you recommend? That's what you said. What would you buy for my collection? Well, Andy, I told you to grab PMG Green Crosby or an Essential Credentials, knowing what you like, because you like your inserts. And Andy is Bye Bye Baby Cards on Instagram, you guys. He's got an amazing collection. If you're not following Bye Bye Baby yet on Instagram, go, one of my favorite accounts, and he's a great dude too. But don't tell them I told you had to buy it. You asked me if you had $5,000, and $5,000 doesn't buy it anyway. So yeah, I love you too, Andy. Love you too, buddy.
And then I want to make on the Lemieux Gretzky. I would love to have a Lemieux Gretzky patch auto. And aside, let's even say the autos were perfect. That's an ugly hockey card. The pink is weird on the right. And yeah, this is,
It's not the
poor
nicest
execution
card.
and design. Yeah.
And I actually really like the 09 Cup set. I really like the honorable numbers from that set. I love the RPAs from that set. But yeah, the signature patches did not come out so beautifully. All right, this McDavid, which has the gold vinyl look to it, an employee exclusive, sold for $10.80. Rising Force BGS 95 out of $9.99. Rookie McDavid sold for $300. We have a Young Gun BGS 95 sitting at $9.25 right now. Let's do the third page. Okay, so a bunch of things are ending. McDavid Young Gun PSA 8 is at $575. We had two Matthews PSA 10 sell, $810 and $780. McDavid PSA 9 autograph buyback out of 97 sold for $7,200. Someone was asking me about this card this week, and I really do like this card. This is one that Andy, you could have bought. Bye Bye Baby. This is a great card too. Jack Hughes SP Authentic Future Watch Auto Raw sells for $690. Josh, that seems like a great deal for Jack Hughes. I mean, he's not as hot as he was at the first part of the season, but that seems like a good deal. Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you know about that?
I think it's so tough with Jack. It's like, what is he gonna? He's just teetering on what sort of hobby tier he's in, and we're kind of waiting for him to be a certifiable Austin Matthews-esque superstar, and it just hasn't happened. So I don't know. I mean, as a collector, it's probably a good price, I would say. But you look at his Young Guns now is less than $200.
Yeah, 186 it sold for the Young Gun. So his cards are coming down a little bit. The McDavid Exquisite Tribute did $37.20. I like this Bedard card. The Star Rookies. This is like from 93, I believe, the original design. Upper Deck from 93. PSA 10, Pop 12 does $276. That's pretty cool. The SP Bedard PSA 10 sells for $1,020. I'm surprised that card still gets $1,000. PSA 10 Bedard does $720 over here. And this 2024 Upper Deck National Sport Collector Convention Top Shelf Connor Bedard Rookie Auto at a 25 is sitting at $430. It's a PSA 8 with the authentic auto. Josh, is this a card that was given out at the National? Do you know? It must have been.
Maybe.
Well, it must have been NSCC,
2024. Right? Yeah. In Cleveland.
It's like it's one of those redemptions where I think if you opened a box, you could get.
Okay. The black packs or whatever. Right. Now, can you go back up to the Star Rookies? That's the one that right off the top. This is one of my favorite Bedard rookie cards, and one thing with these, so it's the 92-93 sort of achievement tribute card or retro, whatever you want to call it. They have exclusives parallels of these too. So you're. I got into the Dustin Wolf game a couple weeks ago with the exclusives of this card. So if you want to
realize that there was an exclusives of this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Maybe I want the Dustin Wolf too. I mean, last night the Flames played the Jets. Those are my lifetime. Those are my two teams, and I'm a Flames fan now. And they beat the Jets only because of Dustin Wolf. Like he might is a real deal. Sound crazy, but he might be the best goaltender in the NHL right now. I mean, in this year, 2025, he might be the best goalie in the league. Hellebuck, Vasilevsky. I know these guys are great too, but
you know the thing on Wolf though, right? So he his last 2 years in juniors, and then he went immediately into 2 years in the AHL. He won the equivalent of the Vezina in juniors and the Vezina of the AHL all 4 years. He was the best goalie in every league he was in for the last 4 years.
And he'll eventually win a Vezina in the NHL. This kid is good. And I mean, the Flames had no business beating the Jets last night. They were outshot, but Dustin Wolf, I mean, he is that good. I thought, I've been a fan of Ottinger. I still think Ottinger's a great goalie, but I think Wolf is the best. I think he's the best goalie I think he will be the best goalie in the league if he isn't already. Yes, there's Igor Shesterkin and some other great goalies out there, but obviously I'm a little bit biased because I am a Flames fan and I'm hoping for him. So take that into account, everybody. But there's no Wolf cards in this auction. A couple of comments here. Shannick says, I think thick cards look so much better in a one-touch than a graded holder. Agreed. Kinger, you're kind of pumped right now. He's the proud new owner of his first and only McDavid rookie. Won the auction tonight.
Nice.
Franchise Icons SGC 10. Can't go wrong. McDavid rookie with a Gretzky and SGC 10. Yeah, that's a horizontal card, I believe. Congratulations, Kinger. Nice pickup. Jay-Z says, hockey OG collectors don't really slab 180-point cards. If you look at pop reports, there's very little graded versus print run because of, that's what I was trying to say before, Jay-Z. I think we're on the same page. Certainly that hockey collectors just don't really care about grading their thick patch cards. It's just not a thing. And when I see some, and like knowing that when I see a card, someone comes up to me at a card show and they say, yeah, but it's graded. I'm like, yeah, but that's not going to help you out. Like, don't just know that. Maddie Devine says, so which set was the star rookie from Upper Deck Series 2? What set is this from, Josh?
It's EPAC. Might have been Series 2 and EPAC. It's an EPAC, exclusive or achievement, however you want to call it.
Okay, Jay-Z, I think you spelled Canucks wrong right there. I think you spelled Canucks wrong there, buddy. Producer Louis says, glad I did a who's who on Wolflat or who's hot. Yeah, I saw that, Louis. Good call. He is hot. You're going to have him on that segment several times. Jason Pringle says the Flames are only where they are in the standings because of Dustin Wolf. Agreed. Andy says, I love that buyback McDavid. Something unique like that outside a hockey collector lens is attractive to me. Someone who isn't collecting a lot of hockey, but still looking for something that is different. Yeah, I think that would have been a good card for you as well. Andy says, I can continue to collect my Urbe cards and be just fine. Jay-Z got his first Hank Aaron tonight. What year? What year did you buy, Jay-Z? And LGC says Fanatics only sells graded cards. No, they sell raw cards as well, LGC. Not sure where you heard that, but this one right in front of you is actually a raw card. This is not a graded card right here.
They're all authenticated by CGC, but they're still raw.
Yeah, it's a raw. It's not a, yeah, he said they only sell graded cards, but no, they don't. Okay, let's go back now to page 1 and let's see what has sold. So the Jeffreon didn't seem to get any further bids, sold for $372. The Lindsay sold for $432. The second year Gordie did $1,020. Sawchuck 53 did $444. Gordie Howe 1954. Parkhurst 588, 54 tops did $810. The Sawchuck is still alive at $350, the 1954 tops. The Glenn Hull PSA 7 rookie did $930. The 57 tops Gordie Howe did $552. Norm Allman did $300. That seems like a good price. $960 on the Pierre Pilote. $720 on the Terry Sawchuck. Beautiful, beautiful card. $1410 on the PSA 7.5 Stan Mikita. $810 on the PSA 8 Rod Gilbert. $468 on the 62 Parkhurst Gordie Howe. $320. This Gordie is still going. The 64 checklist does $1350. The 64 tall boy Gordie Howe does $492. It's about where they sell for, but that seems like a good deal. $720 on the PSA 8 Jerry Cheevers. $1890 on the PSA 9. $1320 on the PSA 7 Phil Esposito. $780 on the Yvonne Cornwallis. $7,500 on the PSA 5 Bobby Orr. I think that's a great price. This is such a nice card. I think that should have sold higher. $3,200 on the checklist, Josh, and it is still going.
Wow.
So that's actually $3,840 right now, I believe, USD. All right, let's go to page 2. $216 on okay, we're into the 67s. $216 on the Bobby Hall, $3,000 on the Bobby Orr, and $340 on the Derek Sanderson, still going. $720 on the Gordie, $264 on Johnny Bauer, $540 on the Rogie Vachon, $162 on the Makita. In the 69s, the Bobby Hall did $690 and the Bobby Orr did $840. These have all sold. Esposito rookie did $324 and a PSA 8. The PSA 2 Gretzky rookie did $1,020. That's a healthy price for that card, you know. PSA, I think it did well. $14.4 on the tilted PSA 8 Wayne Gretzky. $17.10 on the top 6, $19.50. So this card has come down, I think, in value, Josh, since as opposed to comps. But it might be the card itself. Maybe there's a centering issue. The PSA 7 Opeachy Lemieux at $372, $750 on the 9 tops, $336 on the WA, $960 on the Ovechkin Black Diamond, $9,600 on the Crosby Future Watch, $37.20 on the Faded Autographs, and we're up to $4,100 on the Honorable Numbers, Alex Ovechkin. 1080 here, 300 here, 1110 on that young gun. McDavid, and we did this page already, 3720 on the McDavid Exquisite Tribute, 276 on the Bedard Star Rookies, 1020 on that one, and we did those. 528 now sold on the Upper Deck National Autograph card. Okay, so now we're going to go, where's the clock at here? I want to find one with a clock. No clocks there. I just want to see how much time is left. Okay, we got 4 minutes. So let's see, did anything sell in the last minute? Probably on the first page. Anything change here? 1320 doesn't seem to be. It looks like most things were sold. So we're going to now hit refresh, and we're not going to be left with many cards. Two cards out of, I think, 59 we were looking at are still going. 350 on the Derek Sanderson rookie card and 4,200. Now, Josh, have you do you know much about Derek Sanderson?
No, I don't.
I ask because when you eventually, on the Hockey Cards Gong Show, look into Derek Sanderson, you're going to find out that he is one of the most colorful characters in the history of hockey.
Really?
I don't remember the stories exactly, but I believe that, look, Maddie Devine right here says Playboy Sanderson. Right, like he has a reputation. I think he was known as a party animal, is what I recall. Maddie, if you remember more, more Hockey Cards says Derek Sanderson is a party dude, fun guy to research. Says more Hockey Cards, please. So when you get to it, Josh, you're gonna have fun with Derek Sanderson. Jay-Z bought the 56 Grayback. Nice pickup, Jay-Z. That is a nice card. I am partial to the 55s over the 56s. They're very similar, horizontal. The 56s have like an action background with a background filled in, where the 55s have a clean background. But I like both, Jay-Z, and congratulations. Really nice pickup. Mike Kemmel pulled gold PMG 101 of Marco Casper and wants to sell. Who do you recommend? Well, this is the Fanatics Collect hockey show, Mike Kemmel. So we're going to recommend that you sell that through Fanatics Collect. Jay-Z says I have a matching mantle grayback, same grade, so pretty matchy. I love that, Jay-Z. I love it. Congratulations, brother. Mark Santucci says the 56 is a beautiful set, my second favorite of the decade. What's your first favorite, Mark? What's your first favorite set of the 1950s in baseball? Really curious to hear that. All right, so where are we at here? We got just under 2 minutes left. Both of these cards are going to go into the next window. The Ovechkin's now at the 4,300. Which is 5160 with the buyer's premium. USD, which is about 7,500 Canadian now for this card, if you want to take it home. So keep all that in mind, guys. If you're in Canada, that's what it'll be. If you're in the US, that doesn't really matter to me. And
I have a little bit of price context on that too. So of the 8 copies, this exact copy is the only one to have ever sold. And it sold in November of 2023 on eBay for about $3,600 US.
Okay. That was before people thought he would break the record as well. So, or at least fewer people thought he would break the record at that point.
Everybody but one, and we know who that is. But
oh, if he's listening, he's already starting to look down his shorts and think, how am I going to eat these? How am I going to eat my shorts here? Right? Andy wants to know, what is the best Gretzky card outside of the oil drops? You mean outside of his rookie card, like his ultimate 1/1? I mean, he's got a couple shields out there. The rookie card, I don't even think his rookie card is his best card. Like, to me, I own both of them, and I think they're his. I mean, outside of like at the time, these are out of reach for most people now. I bought them when they were within reach, but I was going to say outside of cards are just out of reach, like a 1/1 shield sort of thing. Andy, I like the 2012 Fleer Retro PMG Green, and I like the 2009 Exquisite RPA Tribute. Those are, I have both of them because I think they're his 2 best cards, and obviously a shield would be better. But I'm not a shield guy. I like the Oiler patch on that Exquisite card that I have. You got like orange, blue, and white. Like, it's just beautiful. The colors are there. Anyway, I hope that answered your question. at least from my perspective. Feel free, anyone else, to jump in what you think for Andy's question there. Maddie Devine says those all-time future watch out of 49 are pretty slick. Yeah, those are pretty slick too. They, to me, not in the competition for, top card, but for many people, I guess it might be. Like, he's got the Titleists and the All-Star royalties and hardware heroes, all from the cup, that are very, very high demand. I think those go for more than the all-time future watch does, or some of them, the lower numbered ones. Mm-hmm. Mark Santucci, what did the two of you think about his Kings cards? I love a lot of his Kings cards that are auto patches. If we're talking like base cards, I don't really care, Mark. But if you're talking about Gretzky cards, LA Kings cards, where they're autographed and he's got a piece of LA Kings patch or two pieces, like in an emblems of endorsements, I love it. Absolutely. Laura says, has word reached you of the Texas couple arrested for selling fake authenticated merchandise jerseys? I saw a post on it, Laura, but I don't know much. I saw the guy's face in a post, but I don't know much about it. But did that come out of the Dallas card show that just happened this weekend? And Shannick says Gretzky has some great limited logos. Yeah, I mean, he's got some great limited logos. I'm lucky to have his one of his All-Star ones. He's got one Oilers one, I believe, and a few LA Kings ones. But those are all up there too, Shannick. I'm with you for Andy.
Well, I would even add to that, Jeremy, and I'm not saying this is the most valuable, maybe my personal favorite, but I love his All-Star in the Campbell Conference jerseys. Like, I have the 17 seismic gold of that card, and I think the 18 seismic gold in the Oilers is more valuable, but for me, I'll take that Campbell Conference all day long. I just love that.
Yeah, I love those too, for sure. Cardfucius says, the shield isn't as iconic as the logo man in basketball. I don't know. I mean, the only reason maybe that is correct is because the logo man in basketball is modeled after a real player, being Jerry West, and just that Michael Jordan played basketball. That might be why. But, historically, the NHL Shield, I think, has been around longer and is, it's almost like saying Michael Jordan or Gretzky isn't as iconic as Michael Jordan. And the only reason for that is because Michael Jordan is a global brand. Wayne Gretzky simply isn't. So I can't really argue at this point, but I also don't see the need to make the comparison. But, I'm not I also don't like the logo man cards. I prefer team colors on my cards. Listen, I'm not going to say no thank you to a Shield or a logo man card, but I don't look at them and think like, oh, I love how this looks. I just don't. Like, the logo man is on all 30, however many teams. The NHL Shield is on all 600 NHL players. They all wear it. But, 1/32 of all players wear the Washington Capitals colors or the Boston Bruins colors or what have you. So I don't know. I'm just not a Shield guy or a logo man guy. I have no desire to own those in my personal collection. That said, I understand their importance. Don't get me wrong. Just because I don't need them or want them, I understand how important they are, generally speaking, in this hobby. Laura says, too close to not be, even have the fake holograms and COAs. Too close to what? Too close to what? I don't know what you mean too close not to be, Laura. Sorry, I don't know what that's about. Shannick says Gretzky 0506 Cup base gamies patch 101. Oh yeah. Les owns that card. You say you think it's his best? I think it is his best, his first Cup 1 of 1. So that is, in my opinion, also one of his best cards. I agree. The only knock against it is it's a sticker autograph. For whatever reason, Upper Deck put stickers on the 1 of 1 base patch auto parallels in 0506 Cup. Subsequent years, on card. So I love that card. I think it's a 6-figure card. I know who owns it. He's a friend of mine, and I love the card. But is it his best? I don't know if I could put a sticker auto. Like, the sticker auto, I just don't love that about it. But everything else about that card is amazing. The set it's from from the inaugural year. It's got a 3-color Oiler game use patch not on auto. Yes. And it's a 101. But is it his best? I don't know. That sticker really bothers me, but it's an amazing card still. Thank you, Laura, the Dallas show. Yeah. All right, well, let's see. The Sanderson sold for $420, and the last card standing is the Alex Ovechkin honorable numbers, numbered out of 8 with a 4-color patch, which is that right there is rare. Rare to see a 4-color patch in an Ovechkin, and it's just and it's number 1 of 8. Look at the auto.
Perfect.
Like the auto is wonderful, just wonderful. Andy says Jeremy's on fire tonight. Logo Man overrated. You think it's overrated, Andy? Listen, I don't think it's I'm not saying that the Logo Man is overrated. I'm just saying that I don't love how it looks on a card. Like, I prefer team colors. I look at a LeBron James limited logos or a Michael Jordan limited logos, and I see the gold from the Cavaliers or the red, black, and white from the Bulls. And I mean, you see all sorts of weird shapes and angles and stitching and patterns. I'm like, that's gorgeous. You sub out that for a Logo Man and you put 1 of 1 on it. I just don't love the looks of it. Like it's I don't know. That's just me. And he says playing days 1 of 1 Gretzky is what I would love to think about. Yeah, you can. There's just nothing great there. There's nothing really nice, and MK has all of them already anyway. But yeah, I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice aesthetic, then I think you can find something in that category for sure.
Can we read the back of this card and see what they say about the patch?
Yeah, for sure. Game used trading card. You've received a game used trading card with a personal autograph from Alex Ovechkin. It doesn't say that Ovechkin used it. It just says it's game used with an Ovechkin autograph. This is one of those cases where if you would have put a couple commas in there, you would have intended for it to be game used by Ovechkin, but they didn't put commas in. They're very, very smart in these legal departments, how to, not paint themselves in a corner. But this is the case where I personally take the leap of faith and say, okay, it's meant to be game used by the player pictured. But I think if anyone were to prove it wasn't, they would say, well, we never said it was. We said you've received a game used trading card that also had a personal autograph of Ovechkin on it.
Well, and the funny thing is the way it's written, it doesn't even say game used memorabilia. It says that the trading card was used in a game. So did he stick it in his boot or something like that, or did he tape it to a stick, or what?
They do fix that here. On the front of this card is a piece of memorabilia that has been certified to us as having been used in an NHL game.
Gotcha.
Just doesn't tell you by what player. Doesn't tell you what player there. Again, it doesn't tell you. If they would have said certified us as having been used in an NHL game by Alex Ovechkin, that would be really, cut and dry. But they don't say that. And I wonder why. Is it because it might not be used by Ovechkin, or they don't know, or in case it wasn't, or they mixed up their mem bins, the Ovechkin and another player? I don't know. But again, it's where I personally do take that leap of faith and say, okay, it's an Ovechkin game used jersey. And I say that because, I hope that's the case. So that's why I say it's that leap of faith. I hope it's the case. It may or may not be. Still a beautiful card, especially if it is worn by Ovechkin.
Yeah, I take the leap of faith there too. It's just kind of funny how inconsistent it is. And I think to your point, I'm guessing it's intentional to protect itself from liability, or the company from liability, in case there was some sort of mistake or mix up.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying before. If it were that it wasn't, if it were to be proven it wasn't used by him, they say, well, we never said it was. We have 15 seconds left on this, guys, or else this card is going to sell for $5,280 with the buyer's premium. 6 seconds for a bid to come in to push it out a little bit. Otherwise, this auction will be over right now at 8 o'clock Pacific on the nose. And there it is. It is sold for $5,280 US. Again, about 7,500 Canadian. And I think that's a good deal. I think that's a good deal on that card. It's a great card right there. That's our auction, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Josh, anything else on your mind? Anything you want to mention? Hey, check out the t-shirt here, guys. The
nice.
Hockey Cards Gongshow Chateau Rip Night t-shirt. Thank you to the Gong Show for supplying me with a t-shirt.
No. Yeah, just podcast tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. Excited about that. And it was a fun action tonight. Lots of cool cards.
Lots of cool cards, guys. If you didn't check out Sports Cards Live last night, we went for 3.5 hours, but we had like 6 different guests, lots of conversation. Check that out. Also, check out everything else on the channel. We'll be back here on Thursday with the Fanatics Collect premiere auction coverage. Myself and Adam Gray, the Real 27 guy. Ali Damji says, even though a Jordan logo man might be worth a lot, if I was not trading and not selling, I would prefer a Gretzky Oilers exquisite tribute patch auto a million times more. Yeah, me too. If it wasn't about the money, me too, Ali, but that Jordan logo man is probably worth like $3 million. So I would take that, sell it, and live the good life, you know? Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mark Santucci. Good to see you here tonight. Thank you, LGC. Good to see you as always. Josh, let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for joining us as you always do. I believe we're coming up on episode 80 of this show pretty soon, Josh. So
cool.
Well, I'll keep you posted as I go. And actually, here, I'm going to take a peek right now and see where we are at on this hockey show that we do here. Just got to get to my records on that. I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. Here we go. This is tonight is actually episode. Since we've been, oh my gosh, hold on a second. Since we've been doing this together, yeah, this is episode 74 that we're doing right now.
Cool.
Yeah, so next week will be episode 75. Oh, Mark Santucci wants to know, Josh, are you going to the Montreal Expo in May?
No. Right now the plan is for travel, the Toronto Expo in April, the National. We're gonna go support our boys in Saskatoon in October, and then probably back to Toronto in November. Phil will probably be there though, so go and harass him. Sell him all your Danny Heatley cards.
There you go. Dave Kaplan, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. Guys, thank you again, everybody. We'll be back next week. That is the plan. This episode of the Fanatics Collect weekly hockey auction ending watch party here on January the 19th, 2025 is now
over.
Over.
It's over.
Over. It's
over.